Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thakliyal, and let's shift focus on investments. Now, if you are someone who wants to invest for your grandchildren but are confused when and where you should start from, then this segment is definitely for you. We will discuss the ways in which you can invest and collect corpus for your grandchildren. Let's welcome on board and take the discussion forward with Harshvardhan Roongta, CFP, Roongta Securities. Harsh, good evening. Welcome to the show. So we know that grandparents often have this dream and aspiration to just leave something for their grandkids, as part of their inheritance. It can come in the form of real estate, gold, and these days we are seeing a lot of them want to keep chunk of money, for their grandkids. Since we know that parents usually have a lot of financial goals lined up for their kids' better future, but then when we talk about grandparents, they might not have a specific goal in line, but then just the fact that they want to leave some amount of corpus is enough a goal for them. Now, how can one go about it, and what could be the right time? Because we're talking about grandparents and not parents. Grandparents already have their kids who've grown up and who have kids whom they've lined up goals for. The kind of available cash, the flexibility of income, all these things need to be counted in when you are trying to aim for such a goal. What would be the thumb rule?
Well, Kavita, you rightly said that it's very common to see grandparents wanting to invest for the future of the grandchildren. So it could be specifically for their higher education, marriage, where they would also want to say that we've got certain amount of wealth and we'd like to pay for partly or fully for their education or marriage. However, when you're investing in the name of the minor, there are a few restrictions that you have to be careful about. Now, SEBI had recently come out with a circular on 12th of May 2023 where it is specified how an investment could be made in the name of the minor in mutual fund. So, say for example, you want to invest for the benefit of the minor. So, the money that gets invested has to either come from the bank account of the minor himself or from the bank account of the parent or the legal guardian, or it could come from a bank account which the minor holds jointly with the parent or the legal guardian. So, these are the three categories from where you can make an investment into the name of the minor. Now, if you look at this entire definition in which it says either the minor or the parent or the legal guardian or an account which is jointly held with the minor and the parent or the legal guardian. So, in this case, if the grandparent is the legal guardian, only then he or she can invest directly from their bank account in the name of the minor. In usual cases, you will find that the child has the parent as a legal guardian in the first stage. In the absence of the parent, and court appoints the grandparent as a legal guardian, only then can the grandparent invest from their account directly in the name of the minor, not otherwise. So in this case, the grandparent would have to transfer the money from their bank account into the account of the child as a gift, and then of course you can make the investment. They could either transfer it as a gift to their child, which is the parent of the grandchild, and then the parent as a legal guardian can invest in the name of the minor. So these are a few technical aspects that you have to keep in mind. You cannot just straight away go and issue a check in the name of for some investment in the name of the minor. There have to be certain rules that have to be followed. Now, mind you, in case of redemption, so now that the investment has been made, if there is a redemption, then the redemption compulsorily has to happen in the bank account which is in the name of the minor. So you cannot take a redemption back into the name of the parent or the legal guardian, despite the investment being made from their account. So these are the few things that you'll have to keep in mind. Now, more particularly, I'd like to highlight, since we are on this topic, I'd like to also highlight how the treatment of buying shares in a demat account will function. So, a minor can most certainly have a demat account which will be operated by the parent or the legal guardian. However, no buying and selling of shares can be done directly from that demat account because the child is a minor, cannot enter into a legal contract of buying and selling shares. So, what happens in this case? The parent or the legal guardian will have to transfer shares from their demat account into the demat account of the child, of the minor. And similarly, in case of sale, they will have to first transfer the shares from the demat account of the minor into the demat account of the parent or the legal guardian, and sale can be effectuated from that account, not from directly from their bank account, from the demat account of the minor. So these are a few things that you'll have to keep in mind when you're operating any investments in the name of the minor. Now, with regards to what are the options available, of course, as I said, mutual funds is one. Within the mutual fund category, either you could go in for a solution-oriented plans, which is very popular when you're investing for children because it has a lock-in period of 5 years. They have specific names assigned to these schemes like a HDFC Children's Gift Fund or a Tata Young Citizen Fund or an ICICI approved child care plan So these are specifically targeted at the benefit of the child until the child turns into a major. Of course, you can invest into any other open-ended regular mutual fund scheme such as an index fund or a flexi cap or a multi cap. All that can be done. It's not that you have to invest only into the solution-oriented plan. However, one thing to be kept in mind: if your time horizon is beyond 8 years or 10 years, then we understand and we know that equity is the best asset class for wealth creation over a longer period of time. However, fixed deposits, PPF accounts, the minor can have a PPF account in their own name, which will be operated by the parent or the legal guardian. So yeah, these are the couple of options available. You need to also, keep in mind that the earlier, and one important point Kavita, I'd like to highlight for everybody, opening a bank account in the name of the minor should be your first step. I think that should be done because that opens up and it's just like a gateway of investing into putting money into the investment universe. So first is open a bank account in the name of the minor. That is very simple. So that at least, as I mentioned, as a SEBI circular, the redemption proceeds will only come in the name of the minor's bank account. So it cannot go to anywhere else. And of course, the earlier you start, as you said, you have time to your side. The earlier you start, the larger wealth the person can create by the time he or she becomes a major and can be used for their future needs.
I think you've covered everything in your just one answer on this particular topic. So let me not just waste more time on this, and let's move on to our viewer queries. I don't think I have any viewer online with me right now, but then let's just take Mr. D. Sony's question. And okay, this question is not clear at all. But the goal is 50 crores by 60 years with almost 15% CAGR. And the person says that there will be no withdrawal till retirement. There's a term insurance already of 1 CR and health insurance 20 lakh. So he's mentioned the type of schemes in terms of categories, but they're not the AMCs. Okay. So he has a large cap, mid cap fund. He has a mid cap fund. He has a flexi cap. He has a small cap. He has a digital fund and then also a sector fund, FMCG. Okay, so we are not sure of the AMC, so we won't be able to guide him on the scheme performance. But then looking at the categories that he has in his portfolio and the kind of goal, we don't know how old he is, but then 50 crores by the age of 60.
Yeah, so Kavita, you're right. I mean, he's just given the categories in which he's invested. So the flexi cap, large and mid cap, small cap, and two sector funds. Next, so we don't know the scheme names and the AMCs. So I cannot comment on whether the scheme is good or bad. But just generally, the allocations that he's made across different market segments, I think it's fine. And I'm assuming that the sector funds that he's included in his portfolio, he's very well aware of what he's doing. So we won't get into all those things. So I think portfolio allocations is fine. No worries on that part. Now, as with regards to accumulating 50 crores after 30 years from now, well, if he and he's also given that if I'm assuming a 15% kind of returns, will accumulate 50 crores. Yes, with a 70,000 rupees per month SIP that he's doing right now, and if he just calculate at 15% CAGR over next 30 years, he should be very very close to his targeted sum of 50 crores. So I don't think there is anything to worry on that count.
Alright, since we don't have details, I don't think so we can go deeper in this question, but then we have Mr. Sai from Hyderabad on phone line with us. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for sending us your question. Is there anything else that you want to add to the question that you sent already?
No. I'll just explain my two queries. First is, for the last 1 year, Axis mutual funds have been underperforming.
What scheme are you invested in?
I've invested Axis Blue Chip and couple of others also.
All Axis?
And yes, couple of 2 or 3 of them also. And then another one is we keep saying to achieve this 15%, 10%, 12% across investors. What is the reasonable returns? Somebody, there's a large section of people what is it? Like if I say 13%, in a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the returns?
Sure. Is there any influencer that you've been following a lot, Sai?
No, I just follow my own. I've done. I follow my own Excel sheets. I have my own portfolio manager which I've developed. I just follow that. So I do not have benchmarking to say where my returns stand. Now, currently, my returns are around 13%.
Is a fund performance, definitely every AMC has their own philosophy to run the kind of funds that they have, but if you're saying that all your access schemes are underperforming, I really want to know the kind of schemes you're invested in, because we cannot say that the fund house in particular is underperforming, because the schemes have different strategies and different fund managers, and they follow a particular a way to invest in a fund. So if you could elaborate on the schemes, it will be helpful for us to help you.
Particular and specific scheme, but predominantly I have invested into equity and equity funds, and in that I have around 40% into large scale, maybe around 30% into the mid cap segment, and the rest like value added, small scale, and I have a part ELSs that are into rest of them. So that is my large scale portfolio, and I've been investing for last around 7 to 8 years. My average rate of, I mean, my annual rate of returns at this moment is 13%. I just wanted to know whether my portfolio returns are in line with the market, or I can further improve on it. How do you rate my 13% returns as on today in a scale of 1 to 10? How do you rate that? That's my question.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sai, for sending us your question and asking it on air also. Harsh, a lot of aspects to this question. First question I want to know from you is, if the schemes are underperforming, is it right to say that the fund house apparently is not doing good? Are the returns in line with the market? The fact that you are invested in active fund, the whole idea to be invested in active fund is to beat the benchmark. That's where the fund manager's expertise lie. Okay, so one question at a time. Harsh, first question, is Axis Mutual Fund house underperforming?
Well, Kavita, I mean, I like Mr. Sai's question because they're very, very, when we asked him specifics of the scheme names, he was not very comfortable sharing the scheme names particularly. However, the view is very specifically he's asking why is Axis Mutual Fund as a fund house underperforming in the last 1 year. Okay, so that's the question. So on a lighter note, I really wish I knew why a fund house would underperform or outperform the market in 1 year's time horizon. And I'm reasonably sure equally the fund house and the fund manager would not be able to specifically quantify and say that this is what I did particularly in the last 1 year, because of which I outperformed or underperformed. Okay, so what happens is research goes into selecting a stock and buying that stock. So when a fund manager buys into a stock, there is never a view that a fund manager would take on that stock for only 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. They find certain value to invest in that company, and that is why they pick that up. Now, they could go wrong with the pricing or the timing when to buy it. So, they might just simply buy it. Imagine a fund manager who's bought into good companies in January 2020, never imagining that March 2020 there would be a COVID outbreak, etc., and everything will go into a lockdown. Now, the same thing in a 1 year time horizon, if you see, the returns will not be looking good, though despite the fact that they picked very good companies. The same thing over a 2 year period will look exponentially good because the markets recovered very sharply post-COVID. So, judging a fund house in 1 year's time horizon, when the equity investment outlook is always long term, I think it's a wrong way to look at things. However, coming to what my understanding of the investment philosophy and what possibly could have gone wrong with Axis Mutual Fund in the last 1 year is their strategy. So they're more of growth-oriented investment philosophy, and obviously in the last 1 year the markets haven't played out to actually give the benefit to a growth strategy. So nevertheless, this does not mean that they're going wrong forever. I mean, the markets will change around, their strategy will change. The calls that they've taken in buying a particular stock, that may probably start playing out after 2 years. So that could happen. So I don't think it's a fair judgment to make based on a very short period of time and allocate or designate a fund house underperforming completely. I don't think that's the right approach. So equity is like investing. It's like a marathon race. You cannot compare a marathon race with a 100 meters of performance. So somebody who starts off very well in the first 100 meters may exhaust when you go about probably 1,000 meters down. So you need to see what you're doing. I don't think it's a fair comparison and judging a fund house purely based on 1 year's return. What you need to see how consistent they have been across the long term. So they may not be top performers, but they need to be consistent which means they need to be very, they need to beat the benchmark in most number of years. They need to be above the category average. So all those things need to be looked at. So that's my first. I hope I'm able to answer to his first question.
And the return of 13%, I think.
Okay.
That's a good thing for them.
Yeah, so one, of course, Gary, if he's getting an XIRR return of 13% on his portfolio for the last 8 years, I think he's doing exceptionally well. Exactly. He need not worry on that count. Now the question arises, how much is a good return? Because that was also his question, asking what is a good return? Yeah. So what I would say, see, equity, there is a risk associated. So how do you look at equity returns? And one is, what is the risk-free return? So what if I don't take any risk, how much return am I going to get? So government security rate approximately 7%. So that's the kind of return that I would get if I take no market risk. I'm taking a market risk. Okay, so I'm taking certain risk. I should be remunerated higher. So how much is that higher return that I should get in line with the higher risk that I'm taking? In my opinion, any return between 12 to 15% on a consistent basis, if not consistent, at least on a long-term CAGR basis, if you're getting a 12 to 15% return, I think you're doing extremely well. Now, if you say 1 to 10 scale, 1 would be 1, 12% would be 1 and 15% would be 10. So you could always put the 13% in between that and get an answer to his question.
Right, Sai. I think we've answered both of your queries. Thank you so much for sending us your question. We move on. There's Ankit online with us from Mumbai, and he wants to invest in a debt mutual fund, ABSL medium term direct plan or UTI bond fund. Hi, Ankit. Is this the question that you want to ask? Anything more to add?
Hello everyone. So yes, that's my question. I just wanted to know whether is it a good decision to invest in a debt fund, Aditya Birla medium long direct growth fund and UTI bond fund. These two are debt funds, so is it a good decision to invest in them? And one more question I have: is it a good decision to invest in an NPS Tier 2 fund instead of investing in a recurring deposit?
Is it good to invest in NPS? Did you say?
Yeah, NPS Tier 2 fund instead of
NPS. Okay, NPS Tier 2. Okay.
Instead of depositing it and recurring deposit, instead of doing recurring.
Definitely. Okay, so you already have an NPS account and you are investing, right? You have a Tier 1 account.
Yeah, Tier 1 account.
Okay, perfect. Quickly, Harsh, what debt mutual fund would you recommend, and should we be looking at debt mutual fund post the change in the taxation?
First is he's talking about specifically about an ABSL medium term and UTI bond fund. So to give you the portfolio breakup, so ABSL medium term is a combination. They invest in the combination of the AAA sovereign papers and AA papers, and they have an average maturity of about 6.5 years, and the pre-expense YTM is approximately 8%. Now, if I compare that with the UTI bond fund, the UTI bond fund will have a longer average maturity of about 8.8 years. They have a pre-expense YTM of 7.5%, and this is essentially why the difference is essentially because they're owning a complete AAA and sovereign papers. So I don't think there is a pure comparison between the two. However, if he's investing in both, I mean it's fine because AA also has some certain kind of allocations in the ABSL medium term, and UTI bond as I said has a complete sovereign and AAA portfolio. So if his time horizon is about 2 to 3 years, I think very comfortably he can invest into both of these funds. There is no harm if he wants to divide or just pick any one. That's kind of fine. With regards to should you invest into bond funds right now? Yes, I would say despite the taxation changes, the changes that there has been in the debt taxation, I think there is room if you're getting about a 7.5 to 8% pre-expense YTM. Post-expense also you'll be at about say about 8% kind of a thing. So I don't think 7 to 8%. I don't think that's a bad return in any form. Further, if the interest rates start correcting, they start coming down, then you have a possibility of earning a capital gain as well. And the liquidity that a mutual fund offers is obviously much better than what a fixed deposit in that sense. So I think yes, he can go ahead and invest into these debt funds.
Okay, alright, that will be all. Thank you so much, Harsh, for being on the show today and helping our viewers with their financial portfolio queries. And we move on. We at the Times Network are back with our